faced a formidable opponent last week in Oregon. We didn't compete very well in the first half. I was disappointed with that. But I was proud of the way our guys did compete in the second half. I think we learned a lot about ourselves, and I think it's something that we can use to carry us through the rest of the season. We've got another Pac-12 opponent coming in this week, a very, very talented team in CU. You got a starting quarterback who started a couple of years in the Big 12. They're in the second year of their system. We're going to be, we're going to be challenged by a very talented group. So we know we've got to, have a great practice week again this week because they're a little bit, their backs are against the wall, and we feel like they're going to be, giving us their absolute best shot. And we need to match that. Well, I think we challenged our guys at halftime. We simplified some things a little bit. The biggest turnaround, the biggest change was I think our guys played with some confidence in the second half. I think they realized that, they're a talented team. They're very, very fast, but they're football players too. There's no Superman capes on their back. They're just a very, very good football team. And we played with a lot more fanatical effort. We tackled better, and I just think that momentum gave us a little bit of juice and furthered our fanaticism. And I hope that that's something that we can take on the rest of the season. I was really pleased. Coach Germano does a great job with our special teams. He, along with Ron Antoine and Jordan Peterson, have different units in special teams. We knew going in that Oregon has some very, very explosive players. And he had a great plan on spreading the ball around and spraying it a little bit to diminish the effect of Thompson, because he's a tremendous athlete. Coach Germano noticed on film that when they held up in their punt return, that they were susceptible to things, and that that first rugby kick, he took advantage of what we saw. So it was really, really good. And then to see Quentin hit all of his field goals makes me sleep a lot better tonight. I was really proud of him. I believe he was just named the Mountain West Conference Special Teams Player of the Week. And for a freshman to go into that environment and have ice going through his veins and kick those field goals was big. I think that's going to help his confidence as we continue through this year. He can be a big weapon for us. Well, from day one, we talked to our team that the number one most important stat is win, but the second most important stat is turnover margin. We didn't do anywhere close to what we needed to last year, or actually the last few years, in creating takeaways. Our offense, the last two games have done a fantastic job, 100% ball security, which I don't know how many teams in the country have gone 2 games and not turned the ball over. They didn't give us the ball on Saturday. We had 3 takeaways, but we knocked the balls loose. When you play physical, you play fanatical, and you get guys around the ball, good things happen. And I think our guys realized that really kind of gave us a spark, gave our offense short fields. That's how we have to win. And hopefully, like I mentioned, the whole second half, I think that gives us a little bit of inspiration the rest of the year to play that way. A little bit different this year, and in fact, from the first week to the second week, really different. Last week against Sacramento State, as we studied them, they went to a lot of big people, what we call 22 personnel, 2 back, 2 tight end. Tried to power and mash Sacramento State a little bit, and had some success in the running game, which then in turn opens things up for their play action passing. They had some big plays there. The week before, we saw primarily 1 back with a little bit of 2 back, 1 tight end. So we got to get ready for everything early in the season. Defensively, they list themselves as a 3-4 defense personnel-wise, but it looks like to us they're playing a lot more over defense than what we call our 3-4 defense. So, anytime you're early in a season and you play two opponents that maybe don't match up exactly how we match up, it's hard to see what they're going to do game plan for us, and that's why you go out and play. You have a plan for everything, and then try to concentrate as the game goes on and see what they try to do to you and try to attack that. I mean, this is a very talented football team. Like I mentioned, they got a quarterback who started 2 years in the Big 12. We're ready for a dogfight. But our guys know we've got a big time challenge. Sure, they stubbed their toe a week ago. They didn't want to do that, but we're expecting a team that's going to have a little bit of a backed in the corner mentality, because this is their last non-conference game, and we expect a big time challenge. Well, I'm really pleased with those guys. We challenged our guys at halftime that nobody felt good about the first half, how we played, and I asked our guys, is that who we are? Let's go show who we really are. And when you have guys like Sean and Phillip and Tristan step up and make big plays, obviously it inspires everybody else. I don't want to have to worry about next year yet, but we're going to have somebody have to step up and replace that production next year. Travis Brown did some good things, played physical. When you have good football teams, typically you've got a great senior nucleus, and I really like the character and the leadership in our senior nucleus with those guys. Absolutely. I mean, whether Donovan was hurt or not, I mean, Tristan showed that he can be a very productive football player against a very talented team. Every week it's going to be competitive, and if you're more productive than the next guy, you're going to get your shot. So Tristan's going to get a shot. The tough thing with him was he wasn't here in the springtime, so he's a little bit behind the learning curve in knowing our defense, but he's getting better every week. Dave Stencleft and Nick Toth are doing a great job getting him up to speed, and if he'll continue to be more consistent, he can be a very productive player for us. Well, obviously he's done a great job in his career, but it's not just him. He's had great offensive lines blocking for him. Because we've got threats outside, a lot of times, people have to honor our receivers, but on his own, he's done a lot of great things. Again, if you ask him, he doesn't care when he gets it. I think it's a nice personal recognition, but he's all about whether we win. It'll be nice for him and nice accolade, but he'd rather beat a Pac-12 opponent in front of our home fans than get a record in front of our home fans.